we started working on this over a year ago. Our intention was to consider ways in which we might reduce the litter in town, because it's been a pretty serious problem in conservation lands and parks and waterways. And we wanted to explore how we might push people to reusable bags as opposed to the single-use disposables. And as it turned out, about 12 other communities at that point had already passed plastic bag bylaws, restricting in some way the use of plastic bags and the distribution of plastic bags. And so that was the direction we ended up going in. And a key turning point was when the recycling and disposal facility announced that they were no longer going to be recycling plastic bags. So we realized that meant that we had all these plastic bags and there was no responsible way of disposing of them in our town. And the reason they did that is because there's no market for it. So they're also really difficult to handle. They fly around the recycling and disposal facility. They clog up the machinery. So we worked on it for a number of months, talking to folks about what the provisions should look like, and then ultimately the Natural Resources Commission proposed it as a bylaw at town meeting, and it passed last April, on April 12th. The bylaw actually kicks in this month in January for larger stores like Roach Brothers. It took effect on January 25th. And for the smaller stores, it'll take effect on April 12th, which is the anniversary of the date of passage. And the actual provisions are that the single-use disposable plastic checkout bags are no longer permitted. What is permitted are paper bags that are fully recyclable and that are made of at least 40% post-consumer recycled content. The idea being that we would eliminate those shopping bags that have the string handles and a lot of ink and sort of a plasticized surface, because those can't be recycled. So the goal was to make sure that every bag in Wellesley could be recycled at our recycling and disposal facility, and that encouraging people to use reusable bags. So that was the second phase of our campaign after the bylaw passed. We did a lot of outreach in town to encourage people to use reusable bags, and that's the bag that you saw with the Wellesley bag. The Wellesley High School students designed that, and Roach Brothers has it for sale. They can absolutely bring their own bags, and I know both Roach Brothers and Whole Foods will give you a little discount if you bring your own bag, but they also have the paper bags available.
About 18 months before, when we thought perhaps a plastic bag ban would work in Wellesley, one of the things we wanted to make sure was that we reached out to all the stakeholders, including our merchants, large and small. So we got together a group of about 15 people, and we called them our bag ban boosters. They were great volunteers, and they met with many of our downtown merchants, about 30, and we also talked to Roach Brothers, and we learned that the smaller merchants, most of them were not using plastic bags and wouldn't consider a hardship to have a bag bylaw in town. And we worked with Roach Brothers to tweak the bylaw to make it a little more acceptable for them. And they've been an incredible partner with us, developing that reusable bag with the Wellesley High School Evolutions program. And then once the bylaw was passed, we reached out to all of the people it would be affected. We sent a letter from the Natural Resources Commission, and as the date grew closer, we got together our bag ban boosters again, and in November we had a bag ban blitz, and we visited many merchants with, again, a copy of the bylaw and just a reminder that the bylaw would go into effect. And to our happiness, we found out that most people already knew about it and were well prepared for it to take effect.
I'd love to just add that the reusable bag campaign has been part of our outreach, as Raina said, since the bylaw passed. And a Wellesley resident, Maria Kellogg, designed a beautiful logo to encourage folks to bring their own bags, and we have it on the sandwich board outside this Roach Brothers store, also on a big banner over the driveway at the recycling and disposal facility. And some of the smaller merchants have also put it in their windows to remind people, because it's a cost savings to the retailers. If you bring your own bag, then they don't have to pay for the bags that they are distributing for free.
January was designated Bring Your Own Bag Month by the Board of Selectmen, and so the whole town has gotten involved in this.